Welcome to The Third Side with your host, John and Stacey Edwards from ThirdSideParanormal.com. Hello and welcome to The Third Side. I'm your host, John Edwards, and I'm joined as always by my lovely wife, Stacey.
Hello.
And today we embark on a new challenge, on a new frontier, on a brand new year. And that's right, it's your Third Side New Year's Day special. And we would have done a New Year's Eve special, but Justin is Justin, and well,
yeah,
he got with the powers that be here at the studio, and, well, let's just say, at Avon Studios, beware of drinking holidays, because you never know what may happen. Of course, if anything does happen, no one will ever know, because it's Third Side Studios, or Avon Studios, and, yeah, they don't tell anything, so.
They don't?
Not a bit.
Okay.
There's a certain, well, I can't talk about that.
Yeah. No.
But anyway, so ThirdSideParanormal.com. That's your address to find everything groovy, as Justin would say. Stacey puts up her blogs there. Facebook.com/ThirdSide. That is our Facebook, obviously, because we wouldn't give you someone else's Facebook to go look at, which we may start doing that just as fun.
Certain random Facebook address.
Yeah, some random Facebook.
Why are these people visiting me?
On YouTube, just look up Third Side if you're listening right now, which a lot of you are. A lot of you are listening right now, which is great. Hi, how you doing? I'm got my shirt off, 6-pack of abs. Stacey's breastises are just leaning on the table, so it's your loss. It's your loss. It's it's a lot better than like when they actually tune in and find out it's your abs and my breasts that are leaning on the table. So,
Don't tell them.
Well, for each their own, right?
I guess so.
At Twitter, at Twitter, that's our freaking address because we're that cool. It's it's at 3SidePara. That's the number 3. And also for you listeners right now, you missed something really cool that I do.
Were you holding up 4 fingers?
Well, it's because I hit a wall yesterday, and I just did.
You can't bend the fingers.
I couldn't help it. I was like, and if you're my super cool like Black Ops boss, that may be watching this right now from another life that I have, because I have a few of them. I didn't punch a wall, but if you're not, I may or may not have got upset and went into this little steel room and punched a steel wall, and I could barely move my hand, but I wasn't going to tell you that because you get mad at me about stuff like that.
We'll talk about it later.
We will. Mm-hmm. Anyway, 2014. The year sucked. Let's just face it, right? It was good for us. We started the Third Side. We got along great. I got like 3 promotions. It was a really good...
It was a good year.
It was a good year. Mm-hmm. Aside from moving a whole lot.
Yeah, we moved twice last year.
Yeah, and we had just moved before that. But yeah.
Hardly seems possible.
I know.
Yeah.
But, like I said, there's promotions involved and movers. We moved.
You're supposed to make them think that we did the moving.
I know, we're supposed to make you think that.
Anyway.
But we didn't. No, we didn't. We hired people from Australia. They moved us. Because they got, anyway. Stacey is going to take us on a guided tour into the unknown that was 2014, into the crazy stories that made up the calendar year of some of the in the real news world, with some of the craziest stuff we've seen. I mean, the weather keeps getting weirder and weirder. You know, no one can really, whether you want to argue what the reason for on the changes is,
right?
The days they be a changing. You know,
True.
There's more people monitoring things, you know, like the sun, and we have more tools than what we used to have. Yes, but the impossible is really becoming possible, and the unimaginable is really becoming reality.
True. We were just talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
About how, I don't know, how advanced everything seems to be.
Right.
Now.
I mean, it's really nuts, and you know, you even see the tone changing with the people who make the rules. It's more of a no, there's no way that could possibly ever happen to, well, there is the slightest of possibilities that could all be real.
Yeah.
But without further ado, I give you 2014.
Okay, so 2014.
Yes.
We're going to review some of the things.
Maybe we should read 2013 and see how long it takes people to realize that was last year. Like all our stoner fans in like Colorado right now.
Oh yeah.
They'd be like, dude, I totally thought that it was 2014. I'm so messed up right now.
Anyway, what we're going to talk about.
Why is the ceiling fan so loud?
What we're going to talk about is we're actually going to talk about the top like UFO stories from the past year, and
had a flashback.
Did you? Yeah, I bet. And not just UFO, but sort of UFO and ET related stories that came out this past year.
Right.
So this was all in an article I thought was really interesting, and it really did hit some of the highlights of things that happened. And you know, we haven't been doing the third side for a full year yet.
No.
So we missed out on some of this stuff.
Although we made first contact over a year ago.
We did, but we weren't actually putting episodes out.
Well, that's because I got my stroker face, so I kind of hid for a.
Hopefully next year we can just pull all of this year review stuff from our own stuff. That would be pretty awesome.
Yes.
Anyway, so let's talk about some of the UFO stuff that happened over the past year.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one was a story from back in January. The story came out back in January, where a pilot had a near miss with a UFO over Heathrow Airport, which I thought was pretty awesome. We didn't actually talk about this because, like I said, this was back in January.
This is in the weird, like, purgatory time between Haunted South and Third Side.
It's funny because I know that we didn't talk about stuff, but I know that you and I talk about the stuff when it comes out. Are you having fun?
It's a better show.
Okay.
I wanted to go up the steps.
Up the steps.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like another promotion.
Anyway, I remember that you and I talk about this stuff.
What?
These articles. These
yeah. Oh, yeah. We talk about it.
You and I talked about it.
This is how we live our life.
So, but it's not something we talked about on the show. But pretty much, at Heathrow Airport, an Airbus was flying, and a ball-shaped UFO came very, very close to it. And it was this big deal, and they couldn't trace it.
I bet all the Malaysian people on that Airbus was like, "Oh God!"
I think this. Maybe.
Well, maybe not yet, but they should have been next year.
Right.
Next year.
Well,
you don't want to sit near the Malaysian person. It's going to be like a cat kneading on you.
I'm not so sure I want to fly at all. And if I do, it's not going to be Malaysia.
No, going to be anywhere near freaking Malaysia. I mean, I would rather fly on a plane with every member of the Taliban going to visit their family that happens to live in Philadelphia.
Right.
Rather than fly with, the Malaysian people right now. Nothing against them personally, other than the fact you've got really, really shitty luck with planes. I mean, it's just not cool at all. And it's a terrible tragedy.
Hey, at least it's just one airline, so you can avoid it if necessary.
No. This airline that just happened, that was a different airline.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Well, anyway.
They're about to start calling it Despair Air soon.
Anyway, this was a really cool UFO sighting. The pilot thought that would be a terrible name for an airline.
I mean, you want cheap tickets?
The pilot thought that he was actually going to collide with it. It said it was a silvery metallic-like orb, but it was passed within a few feet above the jet. And then they weren't able to trace it or figure out what it was or anything. So,
wow.
That's pretty
cool. It was either Russian test flying their spherical, UFOs, or
Maybe.
Or a UFO.
I don't know. Maybe. It never said.
Right.
So.
Of course it didn't.
Okay, so another cool thing that happened back in January was a story that came out about the ex-Canadian defense minister. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Where he actually said that extraterrestrials were visiting the Earth and engaging with us and that sort of thing.
Yes, he did.
He actually said, he told a Russian TV program that aliens have been visiting our planet for thousands of years. There's just so much evidence.
Right.
So I don't remember actually seeing that.
I do.
Did you actually see that?
I did. This guy is really cool because, yeah, he had all this power and he, or as much power as you could possibly have in Canada with a position, And one day he woke up and said, what's this on a boot? It was very, very cool having somebody, obviously, all joking aside, of that caliber to come out and mention, about the UFO thing. But here's the thing about it. I seen him talking, and him talking was that moment of realization that people have.
Right.
When they first wake up. When you first realize that most, everything's a lie, and there's probably aliens, and, that moment. And it was the wake-up moment, and that's what happened. And that's him talking about, it wasn't very educated responses, but he was like, yeah, I watched 3 episodes of Ancient Aliens, and I am convinced that...
So he was actually talking. This wasn't like, do you remember we saw that story one time where the guy thought the thing was off, and he was talking?
No, that was the prime minister, or no, it wasn't the prime minister in Russia.
I don't remember who that was, but yeah, and he just said it, but he didn't realize that he was being recorded.
Right.
So
that
that's
was
not
very
that's
cool.
not like this.
No,
he was just talking.
This guy actually did the disclosure thing that.
Okay.
That disclosure group that you love with the Washington and all this stuff. Yeah,
right. The citizens hearing.
Yeah, citizens hearing. He was actually, that's the first time I ever heard of that cat, was when he was there.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like how it says the ex-Canadian defense minister.
Yeah.
Not the current one.
Ceased to be. If that had been an American anything, that would truly be the ex.
Yes,
you don't come out and say that stuff.
That's true.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the truth.
I know. Okay, so another thing that happened this year was a story going around how Google Images revealed a triangular thing on the moon that looked like a craft or whatever, and it was just somebody using the Google moon thing.
Right.
So I don't remember this that well either. I did see the picture. Supposedly they found an area on the moon, and when it zoomed in, it looked like a triangle with some lights going down the side. I don't know if they ever figured out what that actually was, or if it was really a base or whatever they were saying that it was.
As long as it wasn't the lunar wave.
No, it was not the lunar wave. That's not even on this list. I wonder if they know about it.
I don't know.
We'll have to put a link up for the lunar wave.
If you guys don't know about the lunar wave, you need to check it out, because it's pretty much the fact that the moon is a giant hologram, and that there's actually
that is what they said, isn't it?
Other stuff going on the moon for however long now that you would be able to see, obviously, with our capabilities with the current telescopes that we have, that they don't want you to see. So if you watch the moon at certain times, you're going to see it looks like lines going through a TV, but it'll be always in threes. And it goes across the whole surface of the moon. Even the most hardened skeptic has trouble explaining, because one guy, one of the Crow 777 was his YouTube tag. That guy, he actually pans out when it first begins, and
he moves the camera
and pans back to show that it's not
his camera.
And so it's something. Don't know what it is. Don't know if it's a actual hologram or whatever.
I wonder how they came to that. Like, when you see things that are weird, you
don't jump the hologram.
You try to think of an explanation. The first thing they jump to is there's a giant hologram in the sky so that we can't see what's really going on the moon.
Right, exactly.
That seems like a big leap.
That's probably, the guy who came up with it is probably like that guy, like, hey, weren't you supposed to be home? It's 7:01. Weren't you supposed to be home at 7? Are you cheating on me?
That is the...
Do you have another marriage? Another lot? Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
So, hologram's a big jump, but, what else would it be? I don't know. Atmospheric conditions?
It could be something scientific, totally scientific.
We had a giant bang behind us just now.
Did we? Mm-hmm. Didn't even hear it.
Really?
I'll have to listen back to the show. Well, I tend to tune things out that come from this side of the table. So, you know.
It was actually had Basie in it, Stacey. No, that's pretty cool. And the lunar wave, look it up, seriously.
Yeah, I'll put a link up for that video because everybody has to see the hologram of the moon.
Okay.
Anyway.
Did you go to Colorado?
No.
Hologram of the moon.
Okay, so the next thing that happened, this was back in March.
Did you know that back in like the 40s, there was a guy with a telescope? And this is one of the things Justin loves about me. I know every paranormal story, every UFO story, but it's always some guy. And
yeah,
it's like
this guy who told his friend.
You know, like I've said it before on the show, I've been a fighter, and I've been hit in the head multiple times. You should hear the other guy talk, because he doesn't even remember the some guy stuff. So just love what you got.
I think some magic just happened.
So, anyway, there was some guy. Are you all right?
Yes.
You're not supposed to laugh now.
Sorry. There was some guy.
You're supposed to wait till you watch it back.
I know, I'm sorry.
And he was in the 40s or the 50s, maybe the 30s. Who knows? I'm going to 40s or 50s because I like the 40s.
Sometime between the 30s and the 50s, we'll just say that. Okay.
And he had a telescope or a paper towel, like, you know, whatever. He was looking up at the moon, and this was actually a thing. They seen something. It was the bridge of something, and they seen it on the moon, and it was really, 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 really awesome.
It sounds like
more than one person saw it, and they verified it, and they're like, "Hey, Steve, that really is a bridge. I bet there's people up there building that." And then something happened, and they didn't see it no more. Maybe they turned the moon around.
I doubt it.
Well, you never know.
Isn't there supposed to be a lot of stuff on the backside of the moon?
Yeah, it could have been like a giant.
Yeah. Okay, anyway.
All right.
So let's move on.
We are effing high.
In March, so there's something's going through the air.
I mean,
here.
I
don't
think
know.
it's the heat in here or something.
There's a gas leak. I think there's a gas leak in here.
It's crazy.
Anyway.
Well, at least we'll remember it.
So.
You remember that one episode?
This is
I don't know what the name of it is.
This happened back in early March. There was sightings of a large cigar-shaped UFO over Ukraine City.
Really?
Yes. And that was not subtle at all. It was above the Ukraine near Chernobyl, and apparently it was a really good sighting. A lot of people saw it. And I don't know, I've not seen the video for this, but I think cigar-shaped UFOs are weird. Like, they don't look like they should be able to fly properly. You need to stop doing that magic. Just turn it off.
I don't know. I don't know what. Why do they bother you?
I don't know, because they're just odd. Like,
Flaccid?
No, it's not that. It's that they don't. Like, I understand the discs.
They shouldn't fly.
The disc
You're
shapes,
right.
you know, with the circle underneath. I understand that how that could possibly fly, but cigar shapes don't look like they should be able to.
I don't know. The discs kind of bother me too.
Maneuver and things.
You ever seen them try to make a disc and fly it?
Well, just because we can't do it.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Doesn't mean that. No, true. Anyway, so it was a huge sighting back in March. I'm sure we'll have a picture somewhere so you can see that. That's
right.
Pretty cool. Okay, so back in April, moving on, was when we saw Bill Clinton on Jimmy Kimmel Live and talked a little bit about ETs and that sort of thing. We already know about how
Bill
he
Clinton
feels.
he was a really big proponent of ufology, and he wanted it to come out. He wanted to use his power to get disclosure, and he was hit with an abrupt door in the face.
Well, it's funny because he said on there that during his second term, he actually had his aides research Area 51.
Right.
And he said it was to make sure there was no aliens down there, but really, it's not like.
Yeah, what I've heard is he wasn't met with any kind of, like, it was a lot of resistance, and
right.
Everybody who's ever tried, I think Reagan had some success with finding out things. Obviously, Kennedy had the door shut on him. Just opinions here. Eisenhower knew everything because he was the one that met with. Just do some research.
Different. Yeah. Okay, so another cool thing that happened UFO-wise was the Malibu underwater alien
I think Ford
base.
was abducted quite a few times, and they kept wiping his memory.
You think?
It's a dated joke.
I guess so. I don't get it.
All right.
I'll look it up. Maybe I'll get it. I'll laugh later. Okay.
All right.
So anyway, the Malibu underwater alien base. Do you know this thing they found? It's like a shelf underwater with looks like columns, and they think that they don't really know what it is.
Because the guy there's an older gentleman in his 90s, and he uses the ham radios and shortwaves.
Right.
I tuned you into him.
Yes.
To listen to his videos because he discusses the fact that he picked up the signals and could hear the signals, and it's a lost art, the shortwave radios.
It is something we need to probably learn.
I want a license, and I want to do it, and so bad, because there's a lot. I mean, that used to be your conspiracy network,
right?
That's how you found out all the crazy stuff,
right?
And but he uses it, and he actually trained other people to use it. One of the biggest names ever.
Yeah, well, I think that video you showed me, wasn't it? He was getting some kind of weird signal from this particular area.
Right.
But, of course, it's just an underwater anomaly. Nobody really knows what it is. The conspiracy theory on it is that it's an underwater alien base, because it looks like you could just into there.
Yeah, man, it looks like it.
I mean, it really does.
It does.
So that's pretty cool. I thought that was a pretty cool story, and, of course, we'll have a picture of that. Another thing that happened was... well, they mentioned all of the curious things that have been seen on Mars, all of the pictures, and, we've talked about all the pictures.
You love those things.
Yeah, well, some of the things that have come off Mars have really been legitimate, and this that they talk about is actually one that I didn't dismiss so easily. It's the one of the light. There's a light shining on the surface of Mars. Do you remember seeing this?
No.
I think we watched it on YouTube.
I've seen so many of them. I mean, I live my life watching these things. So.
Yeah, well, it was one where there's a picture and it looked like there's just this bright light right there on Mars. I mean, it could be anything. It could be a reflection or I don't know. But it is
could be a Martian with a flashlight.
It is a cool picture, and at least it's not a rock that they've made look into something else, you know? So we won't go into all of those. Those are interesting.
Yes, you love those. The vacuum cleaner.
There was
The vacuum cleaner is definitely my favorite.
Oh, yes, the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, the one that said suspiciously looks like a Hoover.
To his credit, he didn't say that it was a vacuum cleaner piece. He just said that it's shaped
he said, I can't describe it to look anything else but
it
like a vacuum
looks
cleaner.
like this. Yes. I also like the one where they tried to say that there was a plane fuselage.
Yes.
And they were showing you how this rock was looking, and then if you filled in this part of the plane,
last time I checked, our jumbo jets are not going to fly to Mars.
Yeah, exactly.
They might have a few issues getting there.
They talked about this one story from last year about a triangle UFO above Germany that was really popular.
Right.
And it was supposedly...
All the other triangle UFOs were so jealous.
Yes, I know. This is one that kind of flew over. It got a lot of attention, and supposedly a lot of people saw it, and it was flying over some trees, and then it went out. But what happened with this one was it actually turned out to be proved that it was a hoax. Somebody just made it by Ben Hansen. Because he showed where...
I remember that.
Where it looked like it was going behind this structure, but then right as it was coming out, for 1 or 2 frames, the UFO overlapped when it wasn't supposed to. So it was like one of those things that you really had to study it, and which he does.
Yes.
He does that kind of thing.
Oh,
and so I thought that was pretty cool. That was a cool story.
He's probably the one guy who debunks things that I actually enjoy, because he doesn't do it in a snotty, I'm just debunking it to debunk it kind of way.
No, he really studied, because he really wants it to be true.
Right.
But he wants to make sure that it's true.
Right.
And before he says that he thinks it's true. So I thought that one was cool. I do remember that one.
No product placement.
We did watch that video a couple times, but then it did come out a couple days later about him picking that out. So that was pretty cool. You can't fool Ben Hansen.
No, you can't.
Let's see. A couple of these other things. Oh yeah, there's a couple more here. In October, there was a video from one of those moon observers. This one's name is Crow Triplehorn. Why do all people that go to YouTube and look at space, they use Crow? Is that a thing?
Not all of them, but just another one you've heard of in the past 30 minutes.
A lot of them. There's another one we see on YouTube
777, I just mentioned.
Yeah, but there's another one too that we watched that uses Crow. Anyway.
Crow the Hoe?
No, but somebody should use that.
I'm on it.
Okay. So this one, he shoots high definition videos through an 8-inch telescope. He actually captured an object flying over the surface of the moon.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those.
Yes.
Those are very freaking cool.
He posted that, and A lot of people say it's probably just a satellite, something like that.
A lot of people say a lot of things.
It might be. I've not actually seen this video, but it was another one that got a lot of attention this last year.
One of my favorite things over the past year was when the Russian guy came out with the former cosmonaut with the videos, and it looks like the launching off Earth. You know, it's pretty cool.
Yes.
All the satellite imagery are things that are currently in the atmosphere or orbiting. I love seeing UFO sightings from like the space station or anything, because it's so it's just crazy. I mean, it's just amazing to see that thing. No matter what it is, it's just very weird, especially the ones that launch right off the Earth. It's weird.
I agree. The only other ones that they mentioned in this article about odd UFO, ET related things that happened this past year, they mentioned that that documentary that just came out really recently about the secret Nazi aircraft was the thing that crashed in Roswell. Do you remember we started watching that?
Yeah, that's stupid.
And we were like, no. And we stopped watching it. So I don't know how well that particular documentary is doing. I guess it's a theory. I mean, everybody has their theory, right?
Yep, they sure do.
But I don't happen to agree with that one. But, you know, everybody gets their chance to say that was actually, I think it actually came on Discovery Channel sometime.
Yep.
And then, of course, all of the extraterrestrial talk from the Vatican, from the Pope, from all those things, all those, you know, things they were having. The
Pope is an ET.
You think so?
I mean, come on. It's just this guy's causing some people to take blood pressure medicine. I mean, I love this Pope. He is.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, you have to think he's come out and said that, you know, he doesn't think that aliens are different. Yeah, he'd baptize.
He basically hangs out with a gay guy that smokes weed all day.
He thinks we're going to find him. And then they're doing what are they called when people get together and they talk about it? I can't think
of it. A meeting or a congregation?
Yeah, a conference. They were doing conferences. Thank you.
I just had to get you a C in there.
I don't know what it's called. I'm trying to say it, but we talked about NASA having the conferences and the Vatican having the conferences.
I believe something may have happened to us on the way here.
Yeah, maybe. We stared into the sun for too long.
We did stare into the sun.
That was probably not a good idea. But anyway, so those are a lot of the really interesting things that happened over the past year. UFO-wise, ET-wise, that kind of thing.
And actually, that's only a small fraction.
Oh, yeah. You could never cover everything. And there's actually a few videos out there of really cool actual UFO sightings that, you know, we didn't talk about because they're just videos. But I'm definitely going to put links up for a couple that we actually watched that we thought were really interesting. I
mean, as the world changes rapidly and, you know, there's discourse and craziness and, you know, I'm just waiting for any day for the dead to start rising and, you know.
Hasn't that already been happening?
Well, only on Sunday nights and for a few months a year.
Right.
But, you know, it's just been crazy. It's been wild. And it's actually been, we're going through a lot of changes. And I believe that things are going to change the way things are done. Or, you know, people are waking up and they're realizing that a lot of their freedoms were rapidly, you know, going away. And that there is a there's a headbutt coming, you know.
Yeah,
and,
I think so.
I think that people are tired of being lied to, and there's so much evidence that has been mounting over the, you know, ever since Roswell. I mean, you know, there's been ups and downs with UFOs throughout the time. You know, like probably the biggest flap of all time was right after Roswell in the early 50s, you know, when there was UFO mania, and they were seen everywhere, and whatever happened around that time, I would love to be a fly on the proverbial UFO wall.
Oh yeah. So do you think it'll happen this next year? The whole disclosure thing, do you think it'll happen in 2015, or do you think we're still a few years away from it?
I think that when disclosure happens, it will happen begrudgingly. I think that when disclosure happens, that here's the thing. ET is here. Okay, ET has been here. If ET wanted to land on the White House lawn, he could do so. So what is the reason that he's not?
Well, because they don't want us to know that they're here.
Well, there's some collusion going on, and, you know, obviously it would collapse everything.
Probably.
It's the second that we're taking pictures with, the gray, at the Grand Canyon, the first gray selfie that hits Facebook, it changes everything. Because it collapses organized religion. It collapses, and not that it should.
Unless you're Catholic.
Not that it should.
Apparently.
Apparently the Pope can change it on the fly.
He's already setting the groundwork for that.
Right, yeah. Yeah, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. But it's, it's changing. It really is. Okay. And I really love the fact that everybody has a camera in their hand. And more with the way the internet is, people are capturing this crazy stuff, and they're it's not just UFOs, it's paranormal, it's cryptozoology, everything that we talk about, the whole spectrum of the weird is right at our fingertips every time we pick up a device, because of the fact that everybody in the world has a freaking video camera.
Well, that's true.
And that's what I'm talking about. I think that more and more, they can't hide it. They can't do anything about it, because all this stuff is real. We don't waste our time on, fairy tales. It's, we do waste our time on fairy tales.
Some of them.
But there, the UFO issue, agenda, phenomena, whatever.
Right.
Is absolutely positively real. There is aliens, and they have had dealings with our planet, and I can't imagine having the mind that would look at like a picture from Hubble or Kepler. I can't imagine having the mind that would know about all these universes and all these galaxies, all these planets, all these millions and billions of light years, and really think that we're the only inhabited planet of intelligent life.
People do think that, though.
It blows my mind.
Well, anyway.
I'm looking forward to the new year.
Yes, I can
Happy
tell.
New Year.
Well, the other thing we're going to talk about that happened in 2014 is the archaeological discoveries.
Oh, yes.
That came to light this year that we think are really interesting. We always share this stuff.
Yes.
It's always good to see the things that they discover, because it always changes history. I love things that change history.
To the chagrin of the Smithsonian and everybody else that writes books of history. So it seems like
all the new paranormal shows that have come out are all ones that are aimed at rewriting our history.
Which probably means that they want us to get used to history being rewritten. So they get a hold of the media, and you know how it works.
Everything has an ulterior motive, doesn't it? Okay, so anyway, so let's go over these. And these are not in any order of how they happened. This particular article just made like a top 10 kind of thing. And I agreed with it, so I thought it was pretty cool. So number 10
Had you not agreed with it, would it have made the show?
I would have rearranged them to where I thought it was right.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking.
But I thought this one was pretty good. So number 10 was they found a 4,000-year-old sunken ship in Turkey. And that's like the oldest sunken ship that they've ever found. And it's in the Mediterranean. And what it is, it's at this place called the Port of Urla, which is a port that actually is underwater now. I can't remember. It's like something, I don't have the whole story, but some kind of earthquake or something. You can have a sunken ship if the whole port doesn't go underwater. Oh. But they do find a lot of ships here because this whole area is now underwater. It didn't used to be. And I think one that they found near there before, the oldest, was like 2,000 years old. But this one, they're saying it's about 4,000 years old. So it's definitely the oldest shipwreck that they've found.
That's amazing.
Ever, which is really cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Number 9, they put, in October, they found some new ancient paintings that in Indonesia that are kind of older than they really expected. Like, it's older than what they found before.
Right.
It says they're as old as famous prehistoric art in Europe. And so I think that was like a new thing that they had
Which was also a thing this past year.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite stories.
Oh, the prehistoric art in Europe, yeah.
That rock wall, yeah.
And then, let's see, number 8, they've got a study that was published in the National Academy of Sciences. This is earlier in the year. The series of mysterious lines and geometric shapes that were carved into the Amazonian landscape were created thousands of years before the rainforest even existed.
Wow.
So that's something
that might explain some of the magic in
they're
in that
man-made
area.
ditches. Yeah. And do you know how old the Amazonian rainforest is? And these are supposed to predate that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
That is crazy. That's crazy talk.
That's not going to do it. Okay, so anyway. Okay, number 7, they've got, they found the largest known megalithic block that was actually hand-carved.
It's a very uninteresting rock, though, isn't it? I mean, it's big, yes, but...
It is. But I mean, this is from the German Archaeological Institute.
I mean, it's not particularly interesting.
It's not particularly interesting, except that it's the largest one that was ever carved by human hands.
Right.
But they don't even know how much it weighs. Like, they just estimated the weight at
there's some
1,600
ghost
tons.
somewhere that actually did something cool with his megalithic rock. That's like, really?
Yeah.
You're going to show Bob's? Yeah, it's huge. Okay. It's great. Weightlessness, anti-gravity's anti-gravity.
Right.
Motherfucker. I mean, it didn't weigh any more for him to use his pen to pick it up than it did for me.
Well,
at least I carved the buffalo on mine.
It doesn't say that there's actually anything carved
there wasn't
on
even
it.
buffalo here.
It's just a big block carved. I wonder how they knew it was carved by human hands. You think it had like marks on it or something? I didn't read the whole story about this. This is just like a blip about it.
Probably because the dinosaurs didn't do a whole lot of carving.
Well, I mean, it was like in the ground. It's not like...
What do you mean, how do you know it was carved? If it was carved by human hands, right?
I guess. That's not exactly what I meant, but okay.
Okay.
It's a big stone block. I mean,
right.
There wasn't anything on it. Could it not have just been
No, it
a big
could have just been. You're right. That's what I didn't like about it.
That's what I'm asking.
No, it could have just been. That's
just been a big block.
Yeah. No, I'm completely with you.
Okay.
It could have just been.
I thought I was talking crazy there for a second.
No.
I was like, I think I was making a valid point, but now I'm not sure.
I mean, I get you. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's just that...
Way to turn my valid point into crazy talk, by the way.
Well, I always have aspired to work for the government.
Yes.
So that's why I talk so much crap on you, government. If you're watching right now, I want to be a spy for you. For us here. Oh, God, it goes all over the place. Well, just call me.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
You're a contractor, right? Independent contractor here.
Hey, I've always have been. Anyway, the stone is just it's just like
Okay, so maybe not quite as impressive, but it's on the list.
Not particularly interesting, as I said.
Okay, so number 6 was a shell that they found. They said it was a 500,000-year-old shell.
The magic conch shell.
Yes, that was engraved by Homo erectus.
I love Homo erectus. I wish.
I love this, though, because the way they say it, it says...
I am Homo erectus. I am man.
I don't guess they really thought that name through very well, did
they? They thought it through.
So supposedly the shell is dated to...
Hey, you know what we should call him? Let's call him Homo erectus. Nobody will get it.
Yeah. The shell is dated between 430 and 540,000 years old, and it was
Don't you think that's quite a gap? I know that,
is quite a gap.
When you're saying it, it's like 430 and 540.
Yeah, that's like 110,000 years.
That doesn't sound big.
No, it's 110,000 years.
I know. No, you said million, right?
No, 1,000. 430,000 to 540,000.
It's still 100,000 freaking years.
But this show was actually...
Think about it this way: when you think medieval times, does it seem like a long time ago? Does it? Does it really? Because that wasn't even, 2,000 years ago. I mean, think about that. We're talking hundreds of thousands of years. And this is like, well, it could have been. Someday we're going to be that. Someday they're going to find this episode. And they're going to be like, all right, let's see we are the cave art right now. And they're going to be like, all right, oh, wow.
I say, look at these ancient, stupid people.
What are they talking about? This is crazy. We date this somewhere between, because they won't be able to tell from us, because we can't even get the right freaking year.
I know.
It's the year in review for 2000 something.
For whatever year we just had, we don't know.
Not really sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's an interesting thing about this shell. Yes.
I like that.
Another interesting thing about the shell. I can't wait till they find this.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
They mount their own hands. What's going on?
Poor man. Knowing these guys at our studio, it is a hand.
Yeah, it could be.
Like the joke's on us.
Remind me not to touch that again.
Yeah.
Anyway, this particular shell was actually found over a century ago on an Indonesian island of Java.
Java?
Yes.
Which version?
I don't know. One, probably. But they just now did the research on it, but they found it over a century ago. And it revealed that it contains the oldest engraving ever found, and that it was almost certainly, not certainly, etched by Homo erectus.
Can you even say almost certainly?
That's what it said, but I think it's funny that they've had the shell for a very long time, over a century, and it's not been researched. It's just recently been researched. How do they know the thing didn't get scratched up?
Maybe somebody found Homo erectus and did some unsavory things, and they waited like a while before showing what he carved.
I don't know.
Like, somebody's going to examine that body.
I don't know why it took them so long. Anyway. Okay, so number 5 on the list of things.
Number 5 on the list of things.
Archaeological discoveries from the year. They got to sequence the oldest known human genome. And it was a DNA results from a 45,000-year-old leg bone from Siberia. And that's the oldest that they'd ever done before. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, I don't know what they learned from that. It says it sheds light on interbreeding with Neanderthals, but
yeah, well, I mean, they're trying to still find that.
I don't know.
You're trying to find the missing link that you're not going to find.
You think?
Because that missing link is a gray, and his name's Harry.
I doubt his name's Harry.
It might be.
It's probably like a series of clicks. Yeah.
All right.
That's probably his name. Anyway.
So you're thinking like the African, the ancient language is some kind of, it could be, maybe that came from the aliens.
Maybe. Or it's just telepathy.
It could be like computers, like talking computers, like dots and dashes.
Maybe. Okay, so number 4. Back in January, a new pharaoh was discovered in Egypt. His name is King
Not
Seneb
a new pharaoh.
No.
Oh, you're talking about
No, like they discovered one.
Right.
And
it's like, damn, we didn't know you were here. Sorry, sir.
They found the burial place and the remains of a previously unknown pharaoh who reigned for more than 3,600 years ago. And
you said that very strangely. He reigned for more than 3,600 years.
More than 3,600 years ago. So, it was some expedition. I think it's weird. I thought that they already knew all of the pharaohs for Egypt. Like, how could they all
They don't know all of them, no.
have a new one? Okay.
No, I mean, it's kind of like dinosaurs. I mean, it's been, 100 years, 150 years since we, accidentally dug up the first, jawbone or something.
Well, they found his burial place, and they dug him up. This was
we accept all this stuff, and we think all this stuff is just normal. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, we've already rewritten history quite a bit. Quite
a few times. Well, this just rewrites fills in part of Egypt's history. This was by University of Pennsylvania expedition. They were working with the government, and they found this tomb, and he's a new pharaoh.
So when we go on our trip to Egypt, where we go to the school and the Egyptian school and then go through the whole, that's going to be really cool.
Yes.
I bet we're going to come out enlightened. The whole trip is to be enlightened.
It's like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I hope we can pull all that
together.
together.
Supposed to reach enlightenment.
Yes. Well, that's our dream trip anyway. We're working on it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so number 3. These last 3 are great. Okay, so number 3, archaeologists discover 2 long-lost ancient Maya cities in the jungle of Mexico.
Maya's so 2012.
It is, but
I wouldn't even keep looking.
This one's funny because
it's like I don't want to invest any more time in you.
Really?
Stupid Mayans.
You don't think Mayans are connected to aliens in some way?
I mean, I want to, but
once the calendar ran out and the world didn't end, you're like,
I was so happy.
Mayans, whatever.
Like I just wanted to see. Like, I didn't want the whole world to end.
Well, let me tell you the funny thing about this is one of these cities had actually already been discovered, but they lost it. They couldn't figure out where it was. So they relocated.
What?
It says that one of the cities had been found decades ago, but all attempts to relocate it failed. How would you like to be the archaeologist that finds a Mayan city but then can't remember where it was? I mean, how awful is that?
That's pretty great.
Yeah, but so they found it. He's off the hook now. They found it. It's all cool.
That's a magical city.
Yes, it's all good now. And then they found another one that was a brand new discovery, both in the jungles of Mexico. So,
wow,
it's pretty cool. It says that there's ruined pyramid temples, palace remains, a monster mouth gateway. I don't know what that means. It just I don't know if that just means it's big gateway or if it actually looks like a mouth. I don't know. And it says there's a ball court and altars
they had that
and
really cool game.
Monuments.
Remember that game?
I think so. I remember seeing that in something. Yeah. So that's cool that they actually found a new city and one that they had previously misplaced.
I'd like to go investigate it.
I don't know where that was. Okay, so here's a really cool story. And I actually hadn't remembered reading anything about this. I don't know. This just sort of, I think this just happened fairly recently. But they found in Greece, Greek archaeologists found a Macedonian tomb with human remains in it, and they don't know who it is. And it dates back to the period of Alexander the Great.
Yes.
Have you already heard about this?
Yes.
It says that it's the human remains are currently undergoing testing, and they've actually known about the burial mound for a while, but they just started working on it in the last couple of years. And so several months ago, they discovered a path and 13 steps leading down from a wall. There was like a wall.
Choice of numbers.
Yes. And they uncovered a limestone wall protecting and concealing the entrance to the tomb.
Limestone. Interesting use of rock.
Well, the reason they think that it's a really important person because I think one of the walls was marble, so it's not something that you would normally use. But then they uncovered a limestone wall protecting the entrance.
A quartz wall in running water.
Behind the wall, they found 2 marble sphinxes, which is cool. And
that is cool.
They had been damaged. They were both.
You know, if it'd do us no good to be archaeologists because the story right now would say, and behind the wall, they found 1 marble sphinx.
Well, they were both headless and missing their wings, so they had been, I guess, damaged.
What if you put them together and like?
Yeah, you think you could make one? But they're both missing their heads. You would not.
If it was behind a wall, how in the bloody hell did they lose their heads?
Well, maybe it was buried. I mean, if it was under, I don't know. Maybe they were missing their heads.
I would be like, hey, Hopsing, find me a head. I need a head for my damn sphinx.
So they found.
I'm not going home without my head. Not that kind. Get away.
They found some other magnificent statues. They found a detailed mosaic depicting the abduction of Persephone, which is awesome. I like mosaics. I want a mosaic. I want someone to do a really detailed mosaic.
I like Persephone. It seems like over the summer sometime I was stuck in some.
Do you know the story of the abduction of Persephone?
I do now because I had to look into everything because somebody bewitched me with Persephone.
Oh, anyway, that's one of we had to actually study that story in history. Ari loves that story about Persephone. I don't know why. She just thought that was a good story. And they found a secret vault containing a limestone sarcophagus with human remains. Oh. And supposedly they're going to announce who it is once all the testing and everything's done. So I'm going to have to keep up with that one because I'd like to see who was actually buried in that really cool tomb with the
that's freaking awesome.
Marble in the walls and all that stuff.
Freaking awesome.
And of course, the number one on the list of archaeological archaeological discoveries for this year. I can't believe you don't know what this is. I bet you could pick this out. No, probably not. Stonehenge.
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite story of the whole year.
I bet it is.
Wow, I remember when that happened, I said no one actually knows the magnitude of this.
Right.
And I said this is the biggest story that's happened probably in several years.
Yes, and they made the whole
show about it. Except for the Baltic Sea UFO.
Which they still haven't decided what that really
Bastards.
is. Yes.
Wow, but you should have asked me what my favorite story of the whole year was.
I should have.
And I could have just said...
Why wasn't I thinking of
all the stuff from Stonehenge that they found? Awesome.
I should have thought of that. But, I mean,
Tell us about it.
We haven't actually had a chance to watch that show yet, but, they used the ground penetrating radar and they found...
Penetrate.
Over
It's such a terrible word.
Like,
it don't matter how you're using it.
There's like
you can be the most sciencey science guy ever.
And you say penetrate?
Penetrate is a horrible word.
Anyway.
It's just a nasty, dirty word, isn't it?
To you it is, I guess. It's a sciencey word. It depends what context you're using it in.
I mean, even if you're using it with like a blunt object. I'm not talking just that way.
Anyway, so after they did all their archaeological studying, they've actually realized that, Stonehenge is not even the main structure in the whole concept of the whole thing. There's 60 key locations, there's monuments and all kinds of stuff.
Stonehenge.
Yeah, so there's lots of religious and sacred things that went on in that whole area, and I think they're actually still studying that. So
yeah, of course they are.
Yeah.
That's really, freaking awesome.
Of course, number one story.
The cool thing about all these ancient mounds and temples and what have you is the fact that they didn't have like Google and they still knew where the ley lines were. It's the fact of all the magical, all the energy, all the, like if you take your compass out there and it goes, that's what is so amazing to me is our ancestors, they were with the earth so much.
Right.
And their worship was so in tune. And I'm talking about the pure stuff. I'm talking about the
all about nature.
long time ago stuff, before the rain, before the snow. It was just so in there with the magic. And, if you go to most of these places, you feel a certain energizing, or clarity, or people go just to feel the stones,
Right.
It's just spiritual in its purest sense, and that's what I love about it.
I'd like to definitely visit there. I mean, we've always wanted to visit Stonehenge, but now that they have all those other discoveries, that would be a cool...
It's weird that they have, that it's like, it's probably the most trampled place, really. I mean, because it's a lot safer to go there than it is to go to Egypt.
Right.
But Stonehenge has been really, it's amazing to me that they could still find stuff there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
it's weird.
A lot of it's like ditches and things that have been dug into the ground.
No, I understand.
But there you go. So I'm surprised your favorite story of the year wasn't like a clown story or a person coming back from the dead or...
That's why we didn't do the paranormal. When you asked me earlier, you said, you want to do UFOs or you want to do paranormal? I knew what you damn dirty ape. I knew what you would do. I knew you would get with Justin and he'd be like, you know what you should do is people rising from the dead, because that seemed to happen a lot. I'm surprised that didn't come up. But
I honestly thought about the top conspiracy theories from the year too, but I figured we would end up talking about that way too long.
We talk about that anyway.
I know, because there were a few new ones this year.
I mean, but there was a lot of people buried alive. Most of it was in third world countries.
Right.
But not all of them.
Right, and I'm not sure. I mean, that's assuming all those stories are true.
Right.
Right. Because some of them may not have been.
May not.
You never know.
You never know. There was also a lot of ridiculous clowns.
Yes.
Being clowns.
But then on the positive side of
France.
The paranormal thing, there were still continuous stories of the booms and the fireballs and the hums and the, all that stuff's just continuing.
Yeah. And
sinkholes. Holy cow,
right,
sinkholes.
Exactly. And that's stuff that's been going on like since 2010 when we first started doing a show. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And ever since our first show we've ever done, mysterious booms, hums, and regardless of what someone wants to explain it to be or right on the screen when you're talking what it might be, they don't know. They don't know.
Right.
They could say that no one has ever come out and go, well, it's absolutely this. They don't know. So, yeah, I notice everything. The mysterious booms, mysterious hums, that's crazy. All right? The sightings are increasing like we were talking about. The sinkholes. You can't sit in your house and take a crap without worrying about that turd being too big.
Sinkhole.
Like, did I have too much at Golden Corral? Oh, God. You're gone. Lady was putting up her laundry this year.
Yeah, just recently.
Yeah, she was hanging her laundry.
Fell in a hole.
The tarp was down a hole. I mean, it happened my God. There's nothing sacred anymore.
No, I don't think so.
And, you know, and then you've got the French. You have the French that are dressing as clowns, a small sect of the French, and je ne sais quoi all over the place. And, you know, then you've got the Brazilians coming back to life, and you've got the deadliness in Australia. God love them. Mm-hmm. It's just crazy. I don't even want to leave the house. I'm not going to leave the studio.
So, but all in all, it's been an interesting year.
It has.
It has.
Uh-huh.
And I thought about maybe looking up some predictions for 2015, but, you know, it seems like every year all you get is that the world's going to end and we're going into war. So I thought, what's the point? We'll just rehash all the predictions for 2014, use them for 2015. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about predictions. Mm-hmm. There is a number of people that you are close to that could come on here and give some pretty solid predictions for 2015. Mm-hmm. The thing about the world is this: there is not one path.
No, this is true.
There are at least, you know, two paths for most people that they can go down. So provided that path stay true, mm-hmm. then the prediction could come to play out.
Or it might not.
Yeah, because they hear the prediction.
Right.
And that could totally change the course of things.
And there's the problem with predictions.
That's the problem with predictions.
Telling people what you think their future is going to be.
If I tell you that you're going to die when mm-hmm. you reach 35 years old, you know, when that day comes, you may actually be so worried about it mm-hmm. that your mind, which is a very powerful thing the last time I checked, make sure you die at 35, you know, or at least you're going to get sick and really freaking believe that this is it.
Right.
You know, I don't like that suggestions.
No, I don't either.
So
I agree with that. But, you know, I guess we'll just see.
I do have a prediction, however.
What's that?
With that said.
Okay.
My prediction.
Mm-hmm. Oh, gonna take the ball.
All right.
Okay.
Give me just
take all the time you need.
In 2015, John and Stacey Edwards and Avon Studios production of The Third Side will reach new heights when Coast to Coast AM gets a hold of us to have me come on with you, of course. And then the third side goes bananas and big, and everybody out there actually shares it. And they, you know, that's my prediction.
Okay.
Is that we're going to be bomb diggity cool.
We already are.
Well, we are, yeah.
So,
except we say bomb diggity.
You say bomb diggity.
You agree.
I can agree without saying it.
Anyway, like I said, predictions are
I totally expect you to come out with something really vague. You know, like...
Oh, like...
A plane's going to crash somewhere in the world.
In Malaysia?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on.
That's all.
A plane will go missing in Malaysia. Yeah, that's not really... That's easy now.
I meant something vague, like, you know... Anyway.
No, I'm not going to just come up... I'm not going to come up with... Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I didn't bring any predictions, because, you know...
I'll check and see what the psychic twins say.
Of course you will.
Yes. Anyway, thank you for all that.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, that was some super cool, you know...
Year in review stuff.
Yeah, jogging the old memory banks on some of the weirdness and strangeness that we've been, you know, climbing all over and for 2014, you know, throughout. It's time to kick it out of bed now and, you know, get somebody fresh.
Some weird stuff for 2015.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to be hard. I mean, 2015 is going to be just as strange or stranger.
I'm sure.
I can guarantee you that.
Yes.
There are going to be some things happen in the first parts of the year that we're not very accustomed to. So,
well, there you go.
It's. I think that we're heading in some weird directions with the planet, and you know, the only safe play for you guys is to keep with the third side.
Yes,
I
I agree with that.
We're going to go to new and greater heights throughout 2015.
Yes.
And there's no reason to be scared, because we'll be here for you the whole way. And all you'll ever need to do is go visit thirdsideparanormal.com for your web address, where Stacey has all her mistressy coolness and evil slutware going on. And then
there's no evil slutware.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yes.
Then you go to facebook.com/thirdside, and that's where you get all these cool, groovy stories we've been talking about, and you get them shared.
Like us.
Yes. Tell your friends. Mm-hmm. And then you got to go to YouTube, and you just got to like put Third Side in.
The Third Side. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're going to find us.
Find our episodes.
And you got to like us. Leave a review on iTunes. Look us up on iTunes. If you listen to it all the time on iTunes and you haven't left a review, shame, we all know your name. Get on Twitter and start hashtagging some of our sayings. Some of you have already done that.
Yes. Yes, they have.
And we appreciate it. We will talk more about some of the cool stuff. We're always doing cool stuff, and you guys don't even know about some of it because you're not very perceptive. Some of them are, because some of them have contacted me already.
Yes.
But, there's a lot of cool things coming from the Third Side. You never know what Justin's going to hide in an episode. You really don't. You don't.
Yeah, even we don't.
We don't. Because sometimes we'll be watching it for the second time, and we'll be like, oh, God. What?
Was that in there before?
Yeah. No. Yeah, so it happens. It really happens. That's not me just hard selling it. It's a fun show. We have a lot of fun with you guys. God, we had a fun year this year. It was wonderful. We made new friends that, now talk to us, continuously and give us new stories. Because that's what I like, is my little globe of truth is what I like to call it. All my peoples out there that throughout the world. I got 5,000 people just on Facebook, I think, on my personal one. And, I get so many stories that you're not going to otherwise hear about. And that's what we like to bring to you guys. This is you guys doing this show. Get a hold of us. And at the number 3, Side Para, get a hold of us. Say, hey, Stacey, I got a cool story happening here in my town, and we would love to hear about it, and we'll actually bring you on the show. If you bring us some really cool news story, we'll bring you on the show, and you can at least, hook up with us and talk and tell us what's going on. I think that in 2015, we're going to be doing a lot more of that. Yes. We need our ears on the, in the field out there. We need the boots on the ground people, and we want to make sure that we're bringing you the weirdest stuff we could possibly find. So if the nuclear plant next to your house has 3-headed dogs coming over, play ball with them for a second, confuse the one in the middle, and then tweet us and let us know, or get a hold of us on Facebook. But however you do it, in 2015, come back to the Third Side. For Justin, for the powers that be in the room that I can't say a name of, I don't think. No, I can't. For my lovely wife, Stacey, my name's John Edwards. So long from the Third Side.
Good night.